So just a quick recap. This is a really long conclusion. Apologize. But the 3 elements for succulents is your sun, is your soil, and it's your water. Your sun, make sure that it doesn't burn that black at the edge of the leaves. Too little sun is stretchy and no color. Water it once a week. A newly cut succulent, water it like twice a week. But just have a look at if the leaves are wrinkly or if the leaves are black. If it's black, don't water it. If it's wrinkly, give it water. And then the soil, make sure your soil has drainage. So pour some sand in there. So it's a 1:3 ratio with sand to soil. And Bob's your uncle. You can leave your succulent in a small pot basically forever. It will never die as long as it's got sun, soil and water. So that's my little bit of knowledge for you today. And I really hope that you guys really enjoyed it. So first of all, the 3 elements of succulents. You'll see that when I pick up any succulent, let's say for example this one over here, there's the 3 elements of succulents, which is now obviously the sun. The sun will make it grow, and then the soil and water. Without sun, soil or water, one of them will die. And that's really important that you should know that with the succulents, because I get asked all the time, do succulents need sun to survive, or where must they be put to actually grow? So the simple answer is put it somewhere where it gets sunlight. And that's the first thing that I'm going to speak about. I'm going to talk about sunlight, and then I'm going to talk about soil, and then I'm going to talk about water. But if I ever look at this one, right, this is now a little crashula. It's actually called the ice cream plant, and it's basically a variegated variety of this plant over here. And I'm sure that you guys have seen it before. It's a fairly common plant. And then yes, the white version, a much more scarce variety. But this one, you can see it's got black. It's really black. That means it's burnt. So when your succulent has got the black, singes on the edges of the leaf, that means that it, in the area that it is in, is currently way too hot. And there's some succulents that they just burn really easily, such as the aeoniums. Yeah, I'm picking up the sunburst, and you can see over there there's a black mark or blemish over there as well. It's the sun that is hurting them. So just make sure that you assess your succulents once in a while so that they actually know how much sun. And morning sun is 100%. As long as they get sun, they will grow. But as soon as they're in no sun, then they won't grow. So over here, the 3 elements of succulents, just to recap, it's your sun, it's soil, and water. You need sun, but too much sun can cause that burn. So that's where it's not too much sun. And where it comes to too little sun, then your plant just won't have color. So if you have a look at this plant over here, this is now called a sedum. And guys, if you have any questions, just let me know, because this is a live, so I can answer it as we go along. Alright, so if we have a look at the succulent, it doesn't have any red tips. So that now tells me that it's not getting enough sun. So over here is the same variety. And look how lacquer pink it looks. Or look how nice and red it looks. If you compare the two, you can see dat daar is rooi en daar is groen. So this one definitely needs to be put into the sun. Another thing that you can notice with the plants with the sun is the gap between the leaves. If you look at there between the leaves, it's quite a large gap. Then you know that your succulent is needing some sun, because it will stretch. It's going to now look for the sun. Succulents when they're growing, if you have a look at these echeverias, they're coming towards you. They're nice and compact. They want to be compact. They don't want to be stretchy like this. Because it's healthy, but it's not what it should be. It's very lanky. If I take this one, it's nogal stiff. So that's also to know if your succulent is too little sun. Too little sun, just to recap, it doesn't have color and the leaves are lanky. And the too little sun might, lead to rotting, or it will just die because it's not getting any chloroform, or whatever the science behind it is. It just won't grow if it doesn't have sunlight. So the 3 elements of succulents: it's sun, soil, and water. Always, 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 always remember that, because your succulent will grow. Succulents are so awesome. They'll just grow wherever you put them, as long as they got those 3 things. So it's the sun, it's the soil, and it's the water. So that's the sun over there, and you guys are welcome to take a screenshot of this. What I've also done is, yesterday I posted this picture onto the Facebook page, where then you can actually print this out, or you can save it to actually see. So too little sunlight, your plant is lanky and it doesn't have color. Too much, it is singed. You need to move that into a cooler spot, because it could be the type of variety. There are succulents that want to be in the shade, and those succulents generally are the lighter colors. Like if they've got some white in their leaves, such as this one over here. This is now the pink sedum, the pink variety of this one over here. So if you have a look there, they're the exact same plant, except this one's pink and that one's green. This one, which has got the white and the lighter colors, is more likely to burn than this plant over here, because this one can take the extreme heat because it doesn't have any white. The succulent with more white will burn. But I mean, if it's also in the sun, then it's look at all that color. It's nice and red, and the leaf just fell off. But if the leaves have color, that means it's happy. If the leaves don't have any color, if your succulent is looking dull, then rotate it. I recommend that if you have your succulents, like so let's say that you've got a selection of succulents that are in your house, you can then rotate them. You can basically say, if you have 5 of them, then you can say Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then Saturday, Sunday, and then you just have a week in and a week out, or have your schedule that they have enough sun, because without the sun it's going to die. Like, I'm not even trying to be crass here or anything. It's without sun, soil, or water, your succulent will die. So just make sure it's got enough sunlight, and then you're good to go. Interesting fact, they can actually grow without soil for like a year if you put them in water. Like last year for Valentine's Day, I cut a whole bunch of stiggies and then I put them in a jar, and they're actually still growing. It is insane. But yes, no, that's another story. Another thing that you must look at is the soil composition of the succulents. So over here I've got a little Echeveria. This is now called the Namibian rose. And why the soil is important for the succulent to grow is that that's where it gets its nutrients. So the soil is now the matter which the plant now gets nutrients. Like we eat food to grow, the plant eats the soil to grow. And it can't get to the soil if it doesn't have water, because the water will then be the agent so that the plant can basically absorb the nutrients. So then eventually when the plant grows, you can see, okay, this is now like a big for the pot. You can eventually take it out of the pot without even doing anything. Like, look at that. Daar's die potjie, daar's die plant, and you see how the roots have totally it's grown in the soil, it's grown around it. That means that it's growing. So now to plant it in your garden, all you have to do, just have to make a plug in the soil and then plant it. And trust me, I've had many questions about planting succulents and not loosening the roots. You don't have to loosen the roots. You really don't have to. I've done a Facebook Live at the beginning of the year where I didn't loosen any roots, just to show you guys, everyone at home, that don't be scared to plant your succulents. It's not scary. You just have to take it out, put it in, and plant it. So that is the soil. If this plant didn't have soil, it wouldn't get so big, obviously. And then also with the soil, the succulent can have a lot of soil. It lasts a really long time in the pot. For instance, this one, judging by the amount of babies and how much roots it has, it's probably been in here a couple years, maybe 2 years. And that's a nice thing about the succulents, is that you keep them small and then they bonsai. For that reason, I've brought this little bonsai here today. This is now called a Shrek Ear, or as the plant fundies will call it, they call it the Crashler Golem. But now, I like layman's terms because they're all nice. Like, that's now a Shrek Ear, and you can see why. There's more Shrek's ears. And then one day, this little girl at the store, she said, "Yo, it's a Shrek Ear without the wax." And I thought, that's pretty clever, pretty clever. Anyway, I digress. Over here, I've cut it, and I've cut it over there as well, so that it can now stay small. And I've left it in a small pot. So if you have a look at it, it looks like a stierwag, and this pot is rock hard. Like, I'm pushing it and it's not working. It's not malleable. But that's how you bonsai succulents. You don't have to do much. You literally just have to keep it in the small pot and trim it once in a while. And that's also a topic that I'll be covering in this succulent talk. Comment below if you have any questions, because it is live, so I can always get to your different questions. Alright, so at the moment we were talking about that was now an Echeveria. That was now growing the succulents, right? So you need sun, soil and water. And water, guys, it's really just, you water it once a week. And the way that you water it is that you water the plant. So if your plant is now in the garden or whatnot, and let's say this is my patch of garden, and I've got plants there and I've got soil there, don't now take your hose pipe and water the soil. Water the individual plants. Like, actually give aandag and then have a look. How is this plant growing? How is that one growing? I see that one there, it's now sempervivum. It's making a little baby. That Ionium there, it's growing. It's actually getting too big for the pot. That one there as well as those. I mean, those start getting color as they grow. So just make sure that you give them water once a week. And if they are outside and it rained, you mustn't give it water, because then that's watering it twice a week, and that's not a good thing, because they're going to rot. So water your pots that are in the pot. Water your plants that are in the pot to the rim. So pour your water from the top and then let it come to the rim. I've actually got an example for you. Let me do it now, since it is live. So thank you so much for watching, that it is live. I'm at the Warmer Reseconds market. I'm in the Charlotte Reseconds market. Apologies. It's moved. It's now at the Italian Club. Let me just pump my bottle. Alright. Thank you for being with me. So now to water the succulent. It rained yesterday, but I'm going to do this just for the video. So you're going to water the plant, I say. And see there, where it gets to the rim? That's enough, because the water will start dripping out the bottom. And that's it. And then you just leave it and it will do its own thing. It will make its babies. It will grow. Can guarantee you it will grow. Just give it water. But anyway, so we've discussed the soil, we've discussed the water. And what's important with the soil is the drainage. You can't have soil without drainage. So we use the ratio, sand to soil, or we use compost, which is then 1 sand to 3 soil. 1 sand to 3 soil. So if you have now, if you're filling up the pot with, like you're mixing thing with a bucket, then it's going to be, make sure you get 3 pots of soil and then 1 pot of sand. So it's 1/4 sand and 3/4 soil. Our mission is to always provide good advice, because succulents are, it's not difficult to grow if you just know a little bit. And I really hope you learned something today. So just a quick recap. This is a really long conclusion. Apologize. But the 3 elements for succulents is your sun, is your soil, and it's your water. Your sun, make sure that it doesn't burn. That black at the edge of the leaves. Too little sun is stretchy and no color. Water, it's once a week. A newly cut succulent water it like twice a week, but just have a look at if the leaves are wrinkly or if the leaves are black. If it's black, don't water it. If it's wrinkly, just give it water. And then the soil, make sure your soil has drainage, so pour some sand in there, so it's a 1:3 ratio with sand to soil. And Bob's your uncle. You can leave your succulent in a small pot basically forever. It will never die as long as it's got sun, soil and water. So that's my little bit of knowledge for you today, and I really hope that you guys really enjoyed it.